I never thought of myself as the kind of man who'd have his whole life flipped upside down in a single night. I had a good job, a comfortable home, and a wife I loved. At least I thought I did. Turns out, love can be a dangerous illusion. It all started with a business trip. I'd been gone for a week, flying across the country to meet with clients and secure a deal that would put me in line for a big promotion. The trip was exhausting, but I kept telling myself it was worth it. I was doing this for us so we could have a better life, so we could start a family without worrying about money. A family, yeah, that part stings the most now. See, my wife Jessica and I had been trying for kids for years. At least, that's what I believed. After months of disappointment, I finally saw a doctor to get checked out. The results? I was infertile. No chance of having kids. It wrecked me. I remember sitting in the car for an hour after that appointment, just staring at the dashboard, trying to process it. How was I supposed to tell Jessica? How would she take it? When I finally told her, she cried. She held me and told me it didn't matter, that we'd figure things out, that she loved me no matter what. And I believed her. I let myself believe her. Fast forward to my business trip. I had wrapped up my meetings a day early and decided to surprise Jessica by coming home ahead of schedule. I didn't call, just hopped in a cab from the airport, excited to see the look on her face when I walked through the door. But when I stepped into the house that night, something felt off. The place was dimly lit, the air heavy with the scent of cologne that wasn't mine. And then I heard it. Muffled voices, laughter, the unmistakable sounds of something intimate coming from our bedroom. My bedroom. My heart pounded so hard I could feel it in my throat. My hands clenched into fists. I wanted to be wrong. I needed to be wrong. Silently, I made my way down the hall, every step feeling heavier than the last. I reached the door, the noises growing clearer. A man's voice, a familiar voice. Then it hit me. I knew that voice. My stomach twisted. I reached into my bag and pulled out the one thing I never thought I'd need in my own home, a .44 Magnum. It was supposed to be for emergencies. This sure as how felt like one. I stood there just outside the door, gripping the gun so tight my fingers ached. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't breathing. I was just waiting. And then the door opened. Jessica stepped out, wearing nothing but a silk robe that wasn't even tied properly. Her face went pale the second she saw me, her eyes flicking down to the gun in my hand. And behind her, adjusting his belt, was my boss, the man who'd just promised me a promotion, the man I had spent the last week working my A off for. Jessica gasped. "Oh my God, please don't do anything. I can explain." I didn't say a word. I just stared at her, at him, my mind racing. Then she blurted out the words that made my blood run cold. "I'm pregnant, with twins. You're a dad." For a moment, the world seemed to stop. And then I spoke. Number I'm not. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. I took a slow step forward, lowering the gun just enough to meet her eyes. "I'm infertile." Her face drained of color, and in the next few seconds, everything changed. Jessica staggered backward, her face drained of all color, lips trembling as she stared at me in disbelief. My boss, Jake, stood frozen behind her, his belt still halfway through the loops of his pants. The weight of my words hung in the air like a thick fog. "I'm infertile." I said it again, quieter this time, as if I needed to hear it myself just to believe the sheer magnitude of the betrayal. Jessica's hands clutched her stomach, her breath coming in short gasps. I could see her mind racing, searching for an escape, for some lie to untangle the noose tightening around her neck. I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. "You must have misheard me." Jake, to his credit, didn't even try to deny it. His expression shifted from panic to something else, something colder, more calculating. He slowly straightened his posture as if deciding whether to talk his way out or make a run for it. I could feel my grip tightening around the handle of the Magnum. My knuckles turned white. My whole body was buzzing with a dangerous mix of adrenaline and fury, but I wasn't stupid. I wasn't about to throw away my own future over these two pieces of sat. Jessica took a step forward, her voice turning desperate. Please, honey, I was going to tell you, I was scared. I didn't know how you'd react. I thought maybe it was a miracle. A miracle, I laughed. A sharp, bitter laugh that felt foreign in my own throat. A miracle? I repeated, stepping closer, towering over her. So what? God himself just swooped down and decided to give me kids despite medical science saying otherwise? Do you even hear yourself, Jessica? Tears welled up in her eyes, but they weren't the tears of an innocent woman caught in a misunderstanding. No, they were the tears of someone who had just watched their world implode and realized there was no way out. Jake, that smug biat, finally found his voice. All right, man, let's be reasonable here. Before he could finish, I swung. Not with the gun. No, that would have been too easy. I cracked him across the jaw with my free hand, sending him sprawling against the wall. He groaned, his legs buckling as he slid down to the floor. Jessica shrieked and lunged toward him, but I grabbed her wrist, holding her in place. I gave you everything, I said, my voice low, dangerous. I worked my ass off for us, for this house, for the future we planned. I gestured toward her stomach, my voice growing raw. And now you want me to believe these are my kids? Her silence was answer enough. Then something inside me clicked into place. The anger, the betrayal, the hurt, it was all still there, burning like a furnace. But a strange calm settled over me. I suddenly knew exactly what I needed to do. I let go of her wrist and stepped back. You know what? Congratulations, I said, voice eerily steady. I hope you and Jake here have a beautiful life together. Her eyes widened. What? No, no, Tim, please. I love you, I swear. This was a mistake. It meant nothing. Jake groaned from the floor, rubbing his jaw. The hell, Jess? I ignored them both and turned toward the bedroom closet, grabbing my suitcase, the same one I had just unpacked a few hours ago. I'll have the divorce papers sent to you, I said, not even looking at her. And don't worry, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly why. Jessica fell to her knees, sobbing. Tim, don't do this, please. I made a mistake, but we can fix this. I paused at the door, looking back one last time. There's nothing left to fix. And with that, I walked out. I didn't stop to pack more than a few essentials. I didn't stop to look at our wedding photos hanging on the wall. I didn't stop when Jessica came running after me, barefoot, crying my name. I got in my car, pulled out of the driveway, and didn't look back. As I drove into the night, the realization hit me. I had lost everything in a matter of seconds. My wife, my marriage, my home. But somehow I also felt free. As I drove, gripping the wheel tighter than I should have, my mind raced through the past 5 years of my life. I kept searching for signs, for cracks in my marriage that I had been too blind or too trusting to see. Why did she do it? That question gnawed at me, but I already knew the answer. Jessica had always been ambitious. When we met, she was fresh out of college, full of dreams and energy. I fell for her hard. She had that kind of smile that made a man forget his worries, eyes that promised the world. Back then, I was just an IT guy working my way up, nothing special, but I loved her and I thought she loved me too. But love wasn't enough for Jessica. I saw the signs in hindsight, how she always gravitated toward power, toward success. She was drawn to men who had more. I'd seen the way she looked at guys who had money, influence. I just never thought she'd trade our life for it. And Jake, that arrogant son of a buck, had been waiting for an opportunity. Maybe it started as something small, harmless flirting, a few accidental touches at office parties. But I wasn't stupid. Jessica had been sleeping with him for a while. She wasn't just cheating, she was upgrading. That was the part that burned the most. It wasn't passion, it wasn't drunken regret. It was calculated. She had looked at our life, at me, and decided I wasn't good enough. I clenched my jaw. That's when I knew. This wasn't over. By the time I pulled into a motel parking lot, my anger had sharpened into something colder. I wasn't going to be the heartbroken husband drowning in whiskey and self-pity. Number. If Jessica wanted to destroy my life, then she was going to burn with it. I checked into a room, tossed my bag onto the bed, and pulled out my laptop. My hands moved with practiced ease as I accessed our shared accounts. Jessica had always been careless with passwords. First, I locked her out of our joint bank account. Next, I transferred half, the part that was legally mine, to a new account. Then I went for something better. Jessica had been so eager to climb the corporate ladder that she must have forgotten one thing. She had been sleeping with our boss, a married boss. And lucky for me, I had proof. See, I had installed a home security system a few months back, one that recorded audio and video. Jessica knew about the cameras in the living room and front door. What she didn't know was that I had installed a small hidden camera in our bedroom, a camera that had been recording her and Jake. It took me less than 5 minutes to download the footage. I stared at the screen, watching as my wife, the woman who had promised to love me forever, arched her back beneath my boss, moaning his name in our bed. I didn't feel heartbreak anymore, just purpose. With a few clicks, I sent the video to Jake's wife. Subject line: "Thought you'd like to see what your husband has been up to." I leaned back, breathing heavily. It was done. But I wasn't finished. Jessica had made a fool of me. I wasn't going to let her walk away from this unscathed. I picked up my phone and dialed a number. "Hey, Ruby," I said when my divorce lawyer answered. "Remember when I came to you asking about what would happen if I caught my wife cheating? Well, turns out I don't need to wonder anymore." She exhaled. "Tim, I'm sorry." "Don't be," I said, my voice steady. "I'm ready to ruin her." Back at home, Jessica had no idea what was coming. She was too busy panicking. After I left, she had tried calling me dozens of times. I didn't pick up. Then she tried texting, "Tim, please come home. We can fix this. I love you." "Tim, say something, please." I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I was scared about the future, about kids. "Jake means nothing to me. You're my husband." Lie after lie. I ignored them all, and then I imagined she got the email. She must have seen the money missing from our account. She must have realized that she had lost control. And when Jake's wife saw the video, that was the real nuke. Jake was a powerful man, but no amount of money was going to save him from what was coming. His wife was vicious, and she had a prenup that favored her heavily in cases of infidelity. Jessica thought she was climbing the corporate ladder. She just burned it down with her own 2 hands. I didn't sleep that night. I just waited. And in the morning, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jessica. "You destroyed my life." I smirked. "No, sweetheart. You did that all by yourself." The next morning, I woke up to the sound of my phone vibrating nonstop on the motel nightstand. I reached over, rubbing the sleep out of my eyes, and grabbed it. Over 50 missed calls. Jessica. I unlocked the screen and scrolled through the texts. They had started as desperate pleas, then turned to anger, then to outright panic. "Tim, please, call me back. We need to talk. I don't care about Jake, I swear. It was just a mistake. I love you." "What did you do?" "Jake's wife just called me. She has the video, Tim. She's threatening to send it to his entire office." I smirked. Then another text sent just minutes ago. "Jake just called me. I'm fucked, Tim. He got fired. They're taking everything from him. He said it's my fault." Now that made me sit up. I had expected fallout, but this was quicker than I thought. I tapped on the notification and typed back a simple response. "Good." I tossed the phone onto the bed and exhaled. Then a knock at my motel door. I grabbed my gun, just in case, and opened it slowly. Jessica stood there, her eyes wild, her hair a tangled mess. She had been crying. A lot. I didn't say a word. She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. I let the door close behind her. Jessica turned to face me, arms wrapped around herself like she was freezing. "You had no right to do this," she whispered. I laughed. Actually laughed. "No right. You cheated on me with my boss, got pregnant with his kids, and lied to my face, but I'm the one in the wrong here? She flinched but held her ground. I was scared, Tim. Of what? She bit her lip. Of losing everything. I narrowed my eyes. I wanted kids, Tim. I wanted a family. But after you told me about your condition, She stopped, searching for the right words. I panicked. I knew how much it hurt you. I thought if I told you I was pregnant, it would fix things. I stared at her in disbelief. She actually thought she could make me raise another man's kids and just pretend everything was fine. Jessica took a shaky step closer. I love you, not Jake, not anyone else. You. I swear, Tim, it was just one mistake. One stupid mistake. I scoffed. One mistake? Don't lie to me, Jessica. I bet this has been going on for months. Her silence was all the answer I needed. I ran a hand down my face. You had an affair with my boss while I was breaking my back to give us a better life. And now you expect me to what? Forgive you? She dropped her head, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. I don't expect anything. I just don't want to lose you. Too late for that. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and paled. I reached for it before she could react. She tried to pull away, but I was faster. I turned the screen toward me. It was a message from Jake. You ruined my life, you fucking bach. My wife took everything. My job is gone. My house is gone. This is your fault. I chuckled, shaking my head. Looks like your mistake is coming back to bite you, huh? Jessica covered her mouth, shaking her head. Tim, please, just let me fix this. There's no fixing this. Please, just give me another chance. She actually reached for my hand, her fingers brushing against mine. I pulled away, and then an idea hit me. I stared at her, this woman I once loved, and I realized something. Jessica had built her entire life around security, around having more. She didn't love me, she loved what I gave her, and now she was about to lose it all. You want a second chance? I asked, voice low. She nodded frantically. Yes, anything. I smiled. Then prove it. Her brows furrowed. What do you mean? I mean, I said slowly, you want to stay with me? Then sign everything over to me. The house, the cars, the savings, everything. Jessica blinked, stunned. What? If you love me like you say you do, then money shouldn't matter, right? She opened her mouth, then closed it. I leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. Come on, Jess, you deserve a second chance, don't you? Her lips trembled. I'd have nothing. I shrugged. Then I guess we're done. Jessica stared at me, mind racing. And then I saw it, the exact moment she realized she was trapped, because no matter what she did, she was already ruined. And for the first time since this nightmare started, I was in control. Jessica stood there, trembling, caught between desperation and cold, hard reality. She wasn't just facing the end of our marriage, she was facing the loss of everything she had built for herself, the security, the comfort, the life I had given her. I could see it in her eyes, the gears turning, trying to calculate a way out. But there was no way out. She had lost. Her breath hitched as she whispered, You wouldn't actually make me do that. I smiled, slow and cold. Wouldn't I? Jessica had spent years playing a game she thought she would always win. She had lied, manipulated, and used me, all while making sure she had a safety net. She cheated with my boss, got pregnant, and still thought she could salvage this. Now she had to decide, walk away with nothing or sign it all over to me and live with the consequences. She swallowed hard, her hands shaking. I need time to think. I chuckled. Sure, take all the time you need, but just so we're clear, once I file for divorce, the lawyers will make sure you get nothing anyway. If you sign it over to me now, at least I might reconsider how hard I decide to bury you. Her breath caught. Tim. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You chose this. You chose to betray me, and now you get to live with that choice. Tears spilled over her lashes, but I wasn't moved. Not anymore. The woman I had loved was gone. Jessica had built her life on deception. Now that foundation had collapsed beneath her feet. Her phone buzzed again. I glanced down. Another text from Jake. Fix this, or I will. I smirked. Looks like your boyfriend's turning on you already. Jessica let out a choked sob, covering her mouth. I grabbed my bag, slung it over my shoulder, and turned toward the door. You have one day, Jessica. One. If I don't hear from you, I will file and I will make sure you walk away with nothing but the clothes on your back. She didn't respond. I stepped out of the motel room, letting the door swing shut behind me. By the time I got back to my lawyer's office the next morning, I had already made up my mind. I was moving forward no matter what Jessica did. But then my phone buzzed. A text from her. I'll sign. I grinned. I sent her the paperwork immediately. 3 hours later, I had it in my hands, signed, notarized, everything, the house, the savings, the cars. Every last thing she had clung to for security was mine. Jessica had nothing left. And Jake? His wife had already filed for divorce and was taking everything. He lost his job, his reputation, his money. Everything they had built together came crashing down in record time. I sat back in my lawyer's office chair, looking at the paperwork, then exhaled slowly. It was done. Jessica had destroyed our marriage the moment she let another man into our bed. She thought she could betray me and walk away clean. She thought she could win. But in the end, she lost everything. And me? I walked away with a new life, one without her, and it felt damn good.